Hey guys, and thanks for joining me for yet another video. Now in this presentation, we're going to make sort of like an appetizer slash finger food slash, you can even have it as a meal. This recipe was inspired by a childhood memory. I have an aunt named Anne-Marie, and she is the master of making these kinds of sandwiches. So based on memory, we're going to get into this recipe. Hey guys, and welcome once again to another presentation. For this recipe, our star ingredient is going to be our cheese. Now all the other items are bonus, but the cheese you see here, I have 2 cups of shredded cheese. This is the star ingredient of this dish. Now to shred this, I use the fine side of my grater, as you see here. I use that side, and to achieve those.
For that, you're gonna need 1 tablespoon of evaporated milk, 1 tablespoon of margarine, half a tablespoon of minced onion. Again, I use the fine side of my grater to mince the onion, a 1/4 teaspoon of hot sauce, half a teaspoon of green seasoning, a tablespoon of mayonnaise, and half a teaspoon of mustard. So these are your bowl. You're just gonna add your 2 cups of shredded cheese. To that, you're gonna add your tablespoon of mayonnaise, your half a teaspoon of mustard, your 1/4 teaspoon of hot sauce, your half a teaspoon of green seasoning, your half a tablespoon of minced onion, your butter, and your milk. So the next step would be to take a fork, and I like to just well my ingredients first before I mix it in with the cheese. So like I use that chance to melt my butter into my seasoning and everything. It kind of makes sense to mulch that in right there before you incorporate everything into the big mix, you know. So I just kind of get it going right here first, and then I give it a big mix now. Yeah, so at this point is where I start really giving it a good mix, just to get everything really mixed in. I use the back of the fork as well to press the cheese because I want the cheese to be a smooth paste. So after mixing it, just fold it into the middle and press it out again. Like press around, just go around your bowl. Now guys, to mash this, I should mention that you can use a hand mixer or a food processor even, but for me that's a bit excessive. To get the cheese melted like this or mashed nicely, what I would encourage you to do is what I just did. I added a tablespoon more of milk, and that definitely increased the creaminess that I'm going for. So as you can see, the consistency is changed. Next, you get 3 little saucers, and then you're gonna split this cheese into 3 portions in each bowl. The reason we're doing that is because we're going to be adding some food coloring to this. By the way, we're going to be making traffic light sandwiches, so I have some food coloring here, and for traffic light, of course, we're going to use green, yellow, and red. So I'm going to make those 3 colors in these 3 bowls. So moving forward, I have my bowls ready with my cheeses that's split evenly. So now I'm going to be adding a bit of color to all of them. I started with 10 drops. So after mixing them in, I got the right color on the yellow. The green, I'm gonna put a couple more drips in there, probably about 5 more drips in the green to get a darker green. But the biggest concern is the red, because the red, obviously when you mix that red with yellow, you're gonna get a pink. So I'm gonna have to put 10 more drips in here to get the red that I like. So I'm gonna do that right now, and I'll come back and show you what I get. So once we got our colors going, I had to add 5 more drips to the green. I added 5 more drips to yellow, and I added 10 more drips 5 first and then 5 more to get this color of red. And I didn't want it to turn into burgundy, so I decided to go with this as my red, and it's pretty cool. So you're gonna get you 4 slices of bread. You're gonna need 4 slices of bread to make the traffic light sandwich. In this case, I have someone who prefers whole wheat, so I'm going to be making some whole wheat as well. So yeah, so the first step would be you get 1 slice of white, 1 slice of brown, and you're gonna split the red in half. You're gonna split each color in half and apply half onto each bread. So split it. So usually I just line it up on the edge of the bread, and I just take the knife and I spread it, and I spread it evenly as I can. So just so till you cover, don't be too concerned about the edges because at the end they get cut off. So just spread the bread. Spread it on the bread and not really the crust. Don't focus on the crust. So that one's done, and you do the same for the other. So we have the first layer of bread done. So next we're going to exactly line up the next slice right on top of that. We're going to just use a little bit of hand pressure just to firmly press it in place. Same with this one. You're going to cover it exactly on top of the last slice, like really exact, and then you're going to just press it lightly in place. And we're going to do the same thing pretty much. We're going to build the yellow, and then we're gonna build the green next with the next slice. So we're gonna, so yeah, we covered the yellow, and I just covered the next slice, which was the green. So I'm just gonna put it on top of the yellow, right there like that. Exact same with this slice. I'm gonna put it exactly on top of this, lining it up exact. And of course the last layer will be on the top. So we're just gonna settle that. Same here. So yeah, then we're gonna kind of like compress it all into place. Once it's all lined up, we're gonna give it a kind of like a fixture. Now you don't want too much of your sides sticking out, but it's okay if it does. Yeah, so next you're gonna take a bread knife, and you're gonna just be cutting off from where your crust starts, so as close as there, and we're gonna just be slicing it right down till we get to the last layer. So we're cutting. Now this is a fun recipe for, like, you know, if you have young kids or if you're preparing for a party and you need some nice little hors d'oeuvres or stuff to like put on the side of the plate. That would depend on how you cut it. Now if you were making hors d'oeuvres, you could easily cut this here and here and then even down the middle again, or even cut it more. But for me, I'm gonna give it the 3 slices, and that'll be all for me on both. So that's what it looks like when you cut the egg. I must mention though, after each slice after every time you go down into the bread and you take your knife out, it's advisable that you wipe your knife off or rinse it off. For me, I've just been wiping it off just so that my next slice will be clean. I'm not actually going to be putting the red into this. You see what I mean? So that's the reason why I wipe it off. So wipe your knife off before you slice again. And that would apply for the edges too. And here we have it, guys, the final product of the traffic light sandwiches. So this is what it looks like. Green, yellow, red, yellow, and green. And like I'm saying, if you had a party or an occasion, these would be some great finger foods. And it's quite easy to make. And I hope you enjoy creating this quick and easy recipe for yourself and your loved ones.